Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at standard 6.ee.b8. Write an inequality of the form x is greater than c or x is less than c to represent a constraint or condition in a real world or mathematical problem. Our vocabulary: an inequality states that two values are not equal. An inequality is similar to an equation, but instead of an equal sign, it has an inequality symbol, such as less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. A solution is a number when substituted for the variable makes the inequality true. And we know that for inequalities, we have multiple solutions. In most cases, we have an infinite number of solutions. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other, like addition and subtraction, multiplication, and division. So today we're going to be focusing on graphing inequalities. And in order to graph an inequality, we need a number line. What is a number line, you might ask? Well, it's a straight line with numbers placed at equal intervals. It is a horizontal line that extends to infinity in both directions. Let's take a look at our number line here. So the arrows on the end helps us to identify that this line will continue going in both of those directions. So it's going to continue going in the positive direction to infinity and the same in the negative direction. In the center of our number line, we have 0, which is neither negative or positive. To the left of our 0, we have our negative numbers. The higher the negative number, the smaller the value. So -3 is smaller in value than -1. To the right of our 0, we have our positive numbers, okay, where the higher the positive number, the greater its value. So 3 is greater than 1. So when we're graphing our inequality on a number line, there are a few things that we need to keep in mind. Whether or not our circle is closed or open, and the direction of the line. So when the circle is shaded in, we call that a closed circle. And if it is not shaded in, we call that an open circle. And you can use the O in open to represent open circle. When do we have a closed circle? If your inequality symbol is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, then you're going to have a closed symbol. And what that means is that that value is included in the solution set. When we have just less than or greater than, it's open. And what that means is that that value is not included in the solution set. So let's take a look at an example. If I have x is greater than 3, and I have x is greater than or equal to 3. Now, 3 would not be a part of the solution set for x is greater than 3. Why? Because 3 is not greater than 3. However, 4 is greater than 3, 5 is greater than 6, 7, so on and so forth. Now, when I take a look at x is greater than or equal to 3, is 3 equal to itself? Yes, it is. So I can include the number 3 in that solution set. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. Let's take a look at another example. If I have x is less than -5, and if I have x is less than or equal to -5, can -5 be less than itself? No. So here our solutions would start with -6, -7, -8, so on and so forth. Could I have -5.5? Yes, because -5.5 is less than -5. For x is less than or equal to -5, -5 is equal to itself. So we would start our solutions with -5, -6, -7, -8. And just a reminder that the larger the negative number, the smaller its value. So -8 is much less than -5. So which of these would we use an open circle and where would we use a closed circle? For x is less than -5, there's no equal to, so that's an open circle. X is less than or equal to -5, that would be a closed circle, so we need to shade it in. X is greater than 3 is going to be open. X is greater than or equal to 3 would be closed. So we shade that one in. So let's go ahead and put these on our number line. So X is greater than 3. So I have to go to my number line and find +3, and there I'm going to put an open circle. Now I have to determine the direction of my line. X is greater than 3. Which direction do I have numbers that are greater? To the right, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. So I'm going to draw my line going to the right. Now to show that my line continues on, I have to put the arrow on the end because this line is going to go past 10 to 100, 1,000, so on and so forth. And then we're just going to label the line because we're going to be putting more than one on the same graph. Now let's take a look at X is greater than or equal to 3. So here we're going to have a closed circle on 3. So we're going to put it right above this one. And we have to shade it in. Where are the values that are equal or greater than 3? Also to the right. So our line will go to the right on our number line. Okay. Let's go over here where it says X is less than -5. So I look on my number line, I find the number -5, and it's an open circle, so I put an open circle there. Now X is less than -5. Where are the numbers that are less than -5? They're to the left. So I'm going to draw my number line going to the left. X is less than or equal to -5. So that's going to be a closed circle on -5. So I'm going to put it on top here. Where are the values that are less than -5? They go to the left. So I'm going to draw my arrow going to the left. And we're just going to label it so that we know which graph is for which inequality. Okay. So let's take a look at a few more examples. A says X is less than -6. I want you to pause and try these on your own and then check my answers. So we ask ourselves, X is less than -6. Where am I going to start my graph? On my -6 here. Then I want to ask myself, will this be an open circle or a closed circle? Well, I have to check my inequality symbol. There is no equal, so it's going to be an open circle. Then I have to ask myself, what are some numbers that are less than -6? Well, -10 is, so that means my line will go to the left. So I ask myself, which direction should my line be drawn? My line should go to the left of my number line. So let's go ahead and construct the graph for X is less than -6. So I have an open circle on -6, and my arrow will go to the left to show the numbers that are less than -6. Let's try the second one. B is greater than 2. Is this an open or a closed circle? It's an open circle on the number 2. And now what are some numbers that are greater than 2? 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So my line will go to the right. Now I have X is less than or equal to 0. So now, is this a shaded or an open circle? If you said shaded or closed, then you are correct. So I'm going to have a closed circle on 0. And because it says that it's less than 0, that means it's going to go to the left because my negative numbers are less than 0. X is greater than or equal to -8. So here, is this an open or closed circle? It's a closed circle on -8. And then I have to ask myself, what are some numbers that are greater than -8? Well, 0 is my positive number, so this line will go to the right. So these are the graphs for the various inequalities. Now let's take a look at some examples where we're given the graph and we now need to write the inequality based on the graph. So in the first example, I have to look at where my circle is. My circle is on +5. Now I know my inequality will have a number and a variable. So I'm going to use x to represent all of my variables for these examples. Now I need to say, okay, is this going to be less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to? Well, the fact that it's an open circle, it's either going to be greater than or less than. Now let's take a look at the direction of our line. The line is drawn towards the numbers that are smaller than 5. Therefore, this would be less than. So we would write that x is less than 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next example. So we're going to start with our variable. And then we're going to take a look at our graph to see what number the graph is starting at. So here we see our circle on -8. Now this is a shaded circle, so it's closed, and that means it's either going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. We're going to take a look at the direction of our line. So our line is going towards numbers that are lower than -8. That means it's less than or equal to. So the inequality for this line is x is less than or equal to -8. Let's take a look at our third example. So again, we're going to start with our variable. The graph is on the number 4. It's a shaded circle, so it's either less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. The line is drawn to the right where the numbers are greater than 4. Therefore, it's greater than or equal to. So here we have x is greater than or equal to 4. And then last but not least, we have that our circle is drawn on -2. It's an open circle, so it's either less than or greater than. The line is drawn to the right side, so that means it's greater than. So x is greater than -2. Okay, so for E, we have x is less than 5. For F, x is less than or equal to -8. For G, x is greater than or equal to 4. And for H, x is greater than -2. Thank you for watching and have a great day.